Hey folks, I got a DJI Mavic Air 2 drone, and I wanted to use the follow mode or trace mode, I think it's called. And so the drone is flying right now, and I just started this hike, and I've got it following me. And they say you have to turn around and wave at it to make sure it understands that you're the target. I don't know about that, but that's what I just did there. And normally I would be hiking a little bit faster than this. Sometimes I use two poles to hike this trail, but I'm having to hold the controller in my hand and I'm watching the monitor as I go just to make sure that the drone is looking at me properly. And when I go through these tight sections like this, I'll turn around and look to see if the drone is in any kind of trouble. There's lots of little limbs and small branches that I'm not sure it can see. In fact, I tried this before and I crashed it, but I wasn't recording at the time I thought it was. But still learning about this, all the settings in this drone. So anyway, I'm kind of walking slowly, and I can see that it's looking at me. If I turn around, it's because I'm thinking, well, I'm making a turn or whatever. So you'll see me do that from time to time. But anyway, so slow walk, but I wanted to show you the trail. Uh, there I am looking at that limb right there. What I did was I manually moved the drone down. I guess I was telling it to come on, but I've got to make sure it makes this turn properly, and it's pausing. I'm not sure if it's waiting on me, but now see I'm hidden, so now it sees me again. So now it comes quickly through there to find me, and these are little tight sections that the drone has to go through. The drone has this thing called obstacle avoidance and automatic pilot uh, avoidance and stuff like that. So it's got some sensors on the front and the back and on the bottom. It doesn't have any side sensors, so that's one of the uh, things that it doesn't have is side sensors. That tree right there, by the way, I put some tar on it because I had a bunch of bark that was dead and I wanted to kind of save the tree. But anyway, so I'm waiting for it to get past this point. I'm trying to move it forward, and it seems like it's kind of stuck. It doesn't want to do it. So I gave up, and I'm going to go ahead and let it see if it follows me. And sure enough, it avoids the tree and sees me walking down there and gets close to that other tree. But um, I'm seeing it on the screen right there, so it's doing fine. By the way, this little controller is amazing. And talking to the drone, it can get 4K video up to miles, like 4 miles away, uh, and still be connected to it and get all that video through to the controller there. And you can control things like that. So anyway, and so now I'm going to make a left turn here, and I'm worried about this. So I'm looking back, and so here I go. Uh, yep, it made it just fine. I'm real proud of that. Now I've already tested this part of the trail once, and I did crash, and I wasn't videoing that. But I, I've since gone back and I've cut a lot of the smaller limbs that I don't think the drone can see. The drone has no problem seeing these big fat trees, but little tiny limbs and things are just now starting to bud a little bit. So once the leaves come out, I think it would certainly avoid them, but it can't do it when it's just twigs. But here's a little tight section, and you notice it speeds up every now and then once it feels free to try to catch up. So I've got it set for a certain altitude and a certain angle of looking at me. Uh, um, we just saw a little limb on the left there, but now this is a tight little section, and normally I don't walk this way. I walk the trail straight there, but I'm going through these two trees, and I know it can go through there. I feel like it can. This is where I crashed last time, is this spot. So that's why I'm being careful going through this section. And you see this tree with the limbs coming up that have leaves on it uh, from last fall. It's got a leaf. We're going underneath a set of limbs, and this is another little dicey section that I got to make sure it gets through because he would hit that tree, but it avoided it. So that's the obstacle avoidance working. And pretty amazed by that. But anyway, I mean, this is not how fast I normally go for a walk, but I'm taking my time, and I'm a little unsteady with just using one pole and having to watch the controller and everything. Here's another. It went around that tree, and then now it could hit this tree, but it's going to avoid it. So it goes around that tree. And now here's another little dicey section. This is I get real close to the creek side here. This is where the big waterfall down below there is. But so it's gonna now. I was hidden for a second, and it found me, and it's come around the tree. So I see a bunch of little bitty twigs around there that the propellers could get hung up in, but it didn't hit them. So we're in good shape. So see how it's speeding up to catch up with me, and not that I'm going that fast, but it hesitates when it sees obstacles and not sure what to do, and apparently it's thinking about it. It's funny how you talk about a computer thinking about something, but obviously this is a lot of programming to get this thing to do that. And the sensors are, I think, infrared sensors or something like that. They're not the camera itself. Maybe it does look at the camera, but I don't think so. Um, so it's following me. By the way, to get this started, and I'm going up a hill right now, so but so it's keeping the altitude above the ground properly. Now here's a dicey little tree on the right there. It's got to go around that leaning tree there, and it does a great job of going down like that. Uh, now, rather than going on my long hike, which I normally do, straight down that trail, I'm turning right just because I want to make sure I don't run out of battery and so forth. I'm moving the drone down because I want to make sure that it doesn't hit some little branches that are above there. And I keep waiting for it to come around, and I'm not sure. It's hesitating, and I'm hesitating, so I'm not sure who it's waiting on. But he does a good job of coming around. And so now this is a fairly wide open trail, and now she notice the drone speeds up to catch up with me, and and I can see it in the controller there, so that's kind of cool. Um, anyway, this is one of my first favorite sections of the trail. It was the first one I really found and cleared out uh, through here. I've got a whole nother valley and section at the next ridge over that I've made part of a trail. So when I do this part double, including the part that I'm not showing you, uh, and then go around the uh, backyard part of the house, I'll show you that in just a minute. Uh, it it's about a 35-minute walk, and normally I'm walking a little bit faster than this. I don't go very fast because I'm just not that steady on my feet. But um, anyway, it's kind of pausing going through here because there's small little trees on either side, and we're gonna have to go under a telephone wire between the poles. See the wire running across there horizontally, and so all right, so it finally made it through there. It was hesitating, but it finally made it through, and let's see it catch up with me now. And I'm probably going to lower it here and make sure we get under this telephone line. The power would be the very top one on those telephone uh, poles. Um, Back to the left there is part of that trail that I'm probably going to show you on another day here. But now this is going downhill. We're going to go back down to the bridge I crossed, and you see we've got some tight sections coming up to get through here. And I don't think I've done any extra. Well, I did a little bit of trimming down at the bottom here, but I didn't do along up here. I've since gone back on that other trail that I'm not showing you and done a lot of trimming and cut down a few trees, small trees that were going to be in the way. Now here's where it's getting confused. I'll lower it down because I want to be sure to get under see the branches ahead of me there. I want to be sure it goes under that. But now it's going to lose sight of me, and it make sure it doesn't. And that's I'm probably lowering it down. I want this thing to go forward, and it seems to kind of be stuck. It doesn't know what to do. It went to the right there, and then I'm not sure what it's going to do. So I keep on going. Hopefully, it'll follow me, and maybe it'll get up the nerve to come past this tree here in just a minute. And I'm walking over. I'm walking back, and notice as I come back towards it, it's going to back up because it's trying to maintain that proper distance. No, don't do that, fella. Okay, here we go. All right, so now I'm trying to control it a little bit and get it to come forward, but it's refusing to do it because of the obstacle avoidance. So I'm going to go ahead and start walking. Now it just came by that tree. So apparently it got unconfused or got brave and went ahead and did its thing there. And this is going to be a dicey section we're coming up on here. This is a big turn that I've got to make going up this hill. I got most of it covered with gravel just because so I can get my tractor down through here. But you're going to see that there's some branches, really low branches, and this thing's going to get caught up in them, but it doesn't crash. It's kind of amazing. So now there, it just went over those branches and it gets stuck with this branch right here. So I mean, it's in a really really tight area. If it went up, it would crash. If it went down, it would crash. So I got to figure out what to do, and I'm trying to work it um, manually here. So I'm telling it to back up. Or no, I walked up to it and it backed up, which is great. And now I'm lowering it down and I'm getting it, you know, probably 3 or 4 feet off the ground, and we'll see whether it can get through there. So it can go underneath all those branches. So come on, buddy, let's see if you can do it. I've since today, this morning, I cut those branches down that were causing the problem because I don't want to have to do this every time. But I do want to get a really good video of this at some point where I'm not having to turn around all the time. So I'm cleaning things up. Now there's a branch right ahead of us. I'm looking down to see if it can get low enough to do that. I'm trying to tell it, and I moved it forward, and sure enough, it did obey me that time. But so I'm moving it ahead. It got up under that branch. So it was low to the ground. I'm leaving it low to the ground, and we're just moving on with this trail now. So uh, and I do drive my tractor down these trails a lot. This trail winds off, and we'll go down the other side of it here after I go to backyard part. So I'm not looking, uh, and because I can see, well, I guess I am looking now, but I can see in the controller, the footage in the controller that it's looking at me real well and without um, any terrible obstacles. It's doing a pretty good job, in other words. And so if I'm pretty confident that it's okay and not going to hit anything, I can just not look, glance down at the controller every now and then. I do have to look where I'm going. Um, and as I'm hiking, I wish I could just look straight ahead, but I do have to look at the trail quite a bit because any little thing that I step on can cause a fall. So now I decided not to go all the way to the edge of the thing because there's some big branches there, so it's following me and kind of shortening that a little bit here. And there's the house, and so it's doing pretty good. Now there's about 34 minutes of flight time on these drones, so uh, that's a nice battery. But this package I got gave me 3 batteries so that I could, do a lot more flying and stuff like that. I'm anxious to be able to video the kids and so forth playing in the backyard when they come. And when I go there, I'm fixing to go there next week. But can't wait to see them. It's been since Christmas. Oh, don't hit that tree. All right, so it didn't. Uh, Look at the um, greenery stuff popping up there in the ground. Those are daffodils. All right, so this is my deck, and underneath my deck, I poured some concrete this past summer and got a place to store my tractor up under there. So I parked that up under there and all my implements. and I really graded and built this road a lot better so the tractor can go around this side. And now you see my new deck that I built. It was made out of cross ties and it was in really bad shape. It had rotten. And so the deck is finished with a fire pit and a bench and all kinds of things. You can see just on the, well, you can't see it, I guess, but I've got the wire uh, rails, little tight cables, cable rails, basically. So that's what keeps the kids from falling off, and it makes it safe for them to come down there and enjoy that. And I really enjoy making a fire out there with them and doing s'mores and hot dogs and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. All right, so now that I'm on the walking next to the creek over here, and this is going to be a really tight section I'm coming up on, and so you see me stumbling there a little bit. um, so yeah, all right, so it's navigating that pretty well. There's a cedar tree right there, and I walk forward, and look what it does. It doesn't go where I came. It went completely to the right and went around it. So maybe it could do better if I didn't just worry about it so much. But since I've had a crash once already by hitting some twigs, I'm still leery of. I don't want to break the thing. Although I did buy the insurance package that went with it. So if I have to replace the drone, it'll be a much reduced price because of that. Okay, so looks like it's doing fine. So, oh, there's a branch. Look, just barely missed that. I got to remember to go cut that one down. I didn't do that one this morning. I forgot about it. I may go do that after I do this dictation right here, or this play-by-play here. So I'm going between another couple of trees. This is up a big. This will be the highest point on my property. So I'm walking up this hill, and normally when I'm hiking, I've got my heart rate way up at this point, and but I am walking slow. And normally I go straight ahead and around towards the street, check the mailbox and all that kind of stuff. And I'm taking this shortcut here because I don't want to have to navigate the drone down through all that stuff. So I do have to navigate around all these azalea bushes and things like that. So I was looking at the battery life to see how much I've got right there. So, and I decided to, instead of going down the steps toward the driveway straight there, I decided to go downhill again, back to where I started. And see these azaleas, they're pretty close there, but the drone, so I guess seeing them and avoiding them pretty well. And it flies over the top of these azaleas. So it went up a little bit. And so now that finishes the hike, but I've got to land the thing. And so uh, I had some difficulty landing it. I go ahead and put the garage door up, and then I'm going to land it. And but the difficulty was since it's in follow mode, you have to actually get out of follow mode before you land it. And I didn't know that. I thought you could just do it, and it. So I move it a little bit so it can land straight there ahead of me. And I'm trying to get it. See, I've got to lower it down. And normally, if you just hold it down, it will land automatically, but it won't go any further. And I don't understand why. So I'm thinking through this, and I'm not sure when I figure out that you have to press that button or turn off the follow me mode. But I'm not moving my hands here. I'm just using the controllers, the sticks, the two little joysticks that it has on it. And I'm going like, what's going on? Why are you not landing? And so I finally touch the uh, thing and get it to land. I turned it off, or turned the follow me off. So that's it. All right, folks. I'll talk to you later.